Welcome to episode 2 of the 2001 Kawasaki KX250 build. Today I will be stripping the subframe and frame of all the leftover paint and grime, getting them prepared for painting, and then getting these painted up and looking nice again. This stuff is really nasty, so I will be doing it outside with a respirator, and it's actually a little snowy here in Montana right now, so it's gonna be a little chilly.
All set up and ready to go. Let's get stripping some paint.
Unfortunately, we have a little problem. This stuff does not work when it's 40 degrees out. It clogs in the nozzle and it won't spray. You can see it is working where I was able to get it to spray. Took a quick trip to the auto parts store and exchanged the spray can for a pour can so that we can actually get this done today. Just finished up the first coat of this paint stripper. Gonna let it sit for about 30 to 45 minutes and go at it with a scraper and then see how much paint we have left. So I'm not sure if this is just because it's really cold outside, but even the paint on thinner is not working that effectively right now. It's removing a good amount of paint, but definitely not stripping down to the bare metal. After a few hours going at both the frame and subframe with some paint stripper and then some other power tools, I still have a lot of green to go. But fortunately, I got a package in the mail today consisting of a handful of grinding and polishing wheels for the Dremel and drill, as well as a box of Scotch-Brite. So I did just test both of these on small areas. This is a 180 grit flap wheel and this is an 80 grit flap wheel. The 80 grit on the Dremel is incredibly effective. It ripped this paint straight off. It is almost too aggressive, but this is aluminum, which is obviously softer than steel, so I'll be pretty careful when chewing through the paint and then just make sure to sand it out real nice. While cleaning the frame, I've realized that there's a lot of crevices with some old dirt and grime in them, so I'm gonna put it in this bucket, add some heavy-duty degreaser to get all of that taken care of. All of this dark green paint that the previous owner coated over the original paint, I am going to make sure to get off because it's not as quality of a coat. To get another coat over this, I don't need it entirely stripped. I just need it to be a really good mating surface for the new paint. Just pulled the frame out of the bin of degreaser after a few hours and it has worked incredibly well. All of the grime on the frame now just falls right off. Most of it came off in the bin. I also just went to the guy's house who I bought the bike from and he was kind enough to give me some of this. Gonna take one more shot at just stripping this paint. After 3 more iterations of heavy duty paint remover along with power washing, I gotta say I'm really impressed with Kawai's factory paint job from 2001. I have almost all of the other nasty green removed. You can see there's a few other areas. The paint remover and power washer combo did a whole lot. It's mostly just factory paint at this point. Just one more iteration of the Dremel and we will finally get this thing painted already. The triple clamps have now been cleaned and prepped for painting. I have these bolts in there just so that I can hang the clamps when I paint them, got everything masked off. These new Dremel wheels worked really well for getting a lot of dirt and grime off and even some of the old paint. They wear away kind of quick, but they are very effective. And then for the hard to reach spots, I use the little wire wheel for the Dremel. Also, if you're wondering, I'm painting all these components instead of getting them powder coated because from my experience, powder coat isn't really that much more durable. It costs way more and I have to take it to a shop and wait to get my parts back, whereas I can do all the painting myself at home. I've done quite a bit of painting on bikes over the last year or so, and from anything from hubs to wheels to frames, and honestly it all lasts pretty well even through riding, power washing, etc. I haven't really struggled at all with paint looking bad or chipping or fading, so I'm gonna keep using it. The heads of these subframe bolts are all polished up and looking really nice. I am now getting the triple clamps prepared to go in the frame, so I polished up this nut and this nut. Would you look at that? We've got a chassis starting to come together. Subframe, airbox, frame, and triple clamps are all painted, fresh, and ready to go. I also got these absolutely sick Pro Series pegs from IMS. They look like they're gonna have incredible grip, and I'm stoked to give them a shot. I am currently trying to source some foot peg springs, which seem to be hard to find for this bike, so these are only temporarily attached for now, but really stoked on these pegs. Overall, the frame paint turned out pretty solid. It's about what I expected. The areas that I focused heavily on look pretty perfect, and some of the areas that had a little more leftover paint look a little more rough. The one thing I realized when looking at photos of this Restyle kit is the frame is gonna be visible all the way from here down. So there's a lot of exposed frame. I think it's gonna look really good. Got some good things in the mail today. For one, finally got some wheels for the buffer so that we can do some good cleaning and polishing. And then got the eBay swing arm. Ended up getting one for 40 bucks, which really isn't too bad. I did already test some of these wheels on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and polish the entire swing arm like this. Really excited for how this thing's gonna turn out. I gotta take a quick second to do a direct comparison. Not complete. Complete. That is incredible, and this wheel is magic. These Prime MX pads really do work. Just had to show this side by side. I'll go ahead and finish the rest of it up now. Old swing arm, new swing arm. Not too shabby. All right guys, couple quick updates on the bike and then I'm going to have to call it a wrap for episode 2. I'd hoped to make it a little bit farther on the bike in this episode, but I'm actually having shoulder surgery tomorrow and I just kind of ran out of time. I've been waiting for some parts in the mail and I've also been waiting to hear back from a couple companies to see if they're gonna help out with the build. So here's where we at. We've got the frame all together with the subframe, airbox, foot pegs, triple clamps. Bearings are good to go, bars ready to be mounted. We've got a new swing arm that's polished up pretty good, still needs a little bit of work and I need to go through the bearings on it. I found out looking through the parts on this bike that I have a carburetor from a 1998 model rather than a 2001 model. And I started doing some research and found that the 98 carb has only a solenoid connector but no throttle position sensor. And the 2001 carb, which came today in the mail, I found a used OEM one on eBay in really nice shape, has both the solenoid and the throttle position sensor connectors. So I imagine the bike was never running that good with that carburetor. So I decided it was the right move to go ahead and find the correct carb for the bike. Really looking forward to making progress on this build. And a big part of the reason I bought this bike in the condition it was is because I knew I was getting shoulder surgery and I knew once I was starting to feel pretty good, but not able to do any activities yet, that this bike will keep me sane this winter. We have feet of snow outside in Montana. I actually went snowboarding all weekend, so there's not a lot I can do in terms of outdoor activity while I recover or anything like that. So this bike is going to be the winter project. One last thing I almost forgot to mention, I went ahead and made a supplies list. This includes a lot of my favorite tools and supplies that I use when I'm working on bikes. This link is found in the description. Obviously, there are lots of alternatives to these products, but they're the ones that I have and tend to like or tend to find to be a good value. And then there's a handful more links in the description that I think might be worth checking out. But stay tuned for episode 3, and thank you guys so much for watching.